The feeling of alienation is growing among them. We'll come on that point too, ma'am. We'll take a very short break. In Public Forum today, we are talking about crafting peace in Kashmir. Making a lot of overtures to the Kashmir Valley every time whenever the Prime Minister has visited, has made official visits. Each visit was riding on a number of expectations, whether it's to do with a railway link or construction plan that the government has talked about, and about expanding the economic infrastructure, about ensuring security to the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. But let's here also talk about the that we were talking about, Mr. Habibullah. Welcome back to Public Forum. In Public Forum today, we are talking about crafting peace in Kashmir. So the centre has been making a lot of overtures to the Kashmir Valley every time whenever the Prime Minister has visited, has made official visits to the valley. Each visit was riding on a number of expectations, whether it's to do with a railway link or it's to do with a reconstruction plan that the government has talked about, and about expanding the economic infrastructure, about providing basic amenities, about ensuring security to the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. But let's here also talk about the stone pelting incidents, the violence that we were talking about, Mr. Habibullah. It's really important here to look at the governance issue, because we know that the government dedicated to the issue of governance. What would you like to say?
To a minor extent with my friend Shobha, the government, this also comes out from Iftikhar Mia, what he has stated. The people need to have a sense of freedom, like every citizen of India has. I feel free, you feel free, we can do what we want here in Delhi, in Lucknow, in Calcutta. The Chief Minister of that state can say sorry to the Prime Minister, you may want me to do this, but I'm not doing it in my state. This is not happening in J&K. The tools are there, and I would also go so far as to say that ensuring those tools has also had something to do with the government of India applying pressure to install those tools, for example, of time. But now you have alternative routes, you have greater connectivity. But the connectivity is not the problem. The problem really, if we're talking the problem, these are certainly signal developments and they are all to be welcomed. But the problem is that the people must get the sense of freedom of living in a participatory democracy, which India is proud to be.
But what would you like to say about this, Mr. Iftikhar Gilani? Because, you know, there are different dimensions. When we talk about development, of course, freedom of speech and expression is citizenship. And, you know, let's say their participation in the state's working. But looking at the other areas, I mean, I was just going through a few things that the Prime Minister has talked about, whether it's to do with power or it's to do with road construction or it's to do with panchayats. We have not missed, none of us must have missed the space with which the
cannot be an answer to the political illness. It is a political illness which has to be tackled through the political prescription. And now on this development side, when you go on the development side, yes, in the Prime Minister, when he visited Kashmir in November 2004, I think he announced that grand package, Prime Minister's reconstruction package, was 24,000 crores. Now it has now gone to 35,000 crores.
But it was in 2004. Still, yes, many projects have to be
yes, 10,000 crores. I think it has now gone over. This cost has overrun. There were 67 projects which had to be tackled up, and in this issue, it's, I think if you go through that, the review, which it is quite a statistical jugglery which the Prime Minister office has done. But if you look close, this is on the development front. But on the political front, what happened to those reports of these working groups? What happened to those reports of this interlocutor the government of India itself had appointed? and we don't hear not even a debate on those interlocutors' report. The visit of the Prime Minister currently, which he took, has visited Kashmir 4 times, but this visit, probably maybe the last visit in his tenure now, was most disappointing.
Working in any part of the country, why should we even think that Jammu and Kashmir will have specific issues here? But the governance, of course, is one of the major issues. We'll talk about that. Time for a very short break in Public Forum. Please stay tuned.
Swami Vivekananda, you have the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, about which the Chief Minister has been speaking.
That's right.
So you have all these kind of draconian laws which prevent the flow of democracy and freedom in that state, which in my view is the root cause of what our problems are.
Okay, we are joined by a caller right now from Delhi, Mr. Ajay Raina. Please put your question.
Yeah, my question is to all the 3 panelists. They were talking about, in fact, for example, a part is, so shall the country allow that? A. Second, the freedoms or the type of which they are asking for the valley, is that being allowed to other regions like Ladakh and Jammu? And third, the connectivity between Kashmir Valley and the Jammu parts of the Jammu. Why is there no talk about the connectivity between the Punjab and the Kashmir?
We will respond to that question. We'll ask our panelists to respond to it, but we'll take a very short break. Please stay tuned. We'll slip to a very short break. A response on the question that our caller had asked about freedom as well as increasing connectivity towards Punjab and Himachal via through Kashmir. Mr. Habibullah, your response.
Yes, well, I think that what the people here, to summarize the discussion that we're demonstrating and so on, in India we do not tolerate sacrilege to the national flag. So obviously that is not going to be permitted. It's not, we are saying that in excess of what happens in the rest of India must be allowed in Kashmir. I don't think anybody has claimed that. On the question of freedoms, the question of Kashmir came up because it is in Kashmir that attacks have taken place on the panchayats. Neither in Jammu nor in Ladakh have there been such attacks. So the question has to be seen in context. I don't think that anybody wants that there should be greater freedom in Kashmir than there is. The answer is there in itself. The connection between Banihal into the valley is to be extended right down to connect with Udhampur and into Punjab. Not only Punjab, Kanyakumari. It should be possible for you to catch a train in Kanyakumari and go all the way to Uri, but not only to Srinagar but to Baramulla and Uri. In
expectations to the visit of the Prime Minister. There were a lot of expectations that will announce something really dramatically. We do, I think, because for last 1 month, the government has changed in
पर्टिकुलर सीजन में क्या कोई ऐसा खास बुखार है जो देखने में आता है और जो डेंजरस भी हो सकता है?
There were expectations because there has been lots of things have in the past has left out. The government of Jammu and Kashmir had been asking for some kind of money under the JNURM to sanitations in Jammu and Srinagar cities, and that hasn't come up. Only thing is that he laid down the foundation of a power plant, in this Doda district, and quite Shashobha was quite very candid enough to explain how these power projects come with energy, but they do come with some other problems also. As the Baglia has come up, it has created a quite a havoc in Doda district that roads are getting washed out.
But that has not happened. But there are a lot of other things that Kashmiri would really like to see. There is an approach that the hardliners had also kept, whether it's to do with the demilitarization of the region or is to do with the devolution of power, which we have seen certainly happening. And that is something which even the Kashmiris would really like to see. Ma'am, do you really see
I think we have to keep in mind that there was for 20 years an armed struggle which claimed action, rehabilitation and reconciliation all has to happen, and all these processes have to go simultaneously. It's not just development or only governance, but for reconciliation to happen, apart from what needs to happen between people, between communities, there is also the whole issue of the political aspiration. We may disagree with it, but you have to engage with people. With the Naga